I think we're ready. I don't know. I'm still here. We go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's live. It's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the 49er fans out there. I can't see anything. I can't, I'm on a dead screen, but I'm sure you guys look fucking sexy this morning, just as sexy as that 49 yesterday. I mean, this is probably the best way of looking at you when I badge of honor. What's up, dude?
Dude, yeah, I mean, the screenshots of you in slow motion are just fucking fantastic. It is Sunday, fellas. The Niners pulling things out yesterday over the Cards, giving the Bears a chance, and that's all we need is a chance to not go out and fuck this up today for us and the Jaguars. They want Trevor Lawrence. I'm sure the players there are still going to play their tails off, but I'm sure the organization is like, please don't win any fucking games. There's 2 left. Let's just fucking lose them. And next year we're Super Bowl or bust. But George Kittle, thank you so much, man. You're a cool dude. The 49ers, excellent, playing for something. The common denominator for me, I think, from Christmas and yesterday is there was a couple teams there like the Saints and the 49ers that, guys, they ran the football. And look what it did for their offense. And look what the Bears are doing right now, running the football, and look what it's doing for their offense. You've got all these guys talking about the air attack and how the pass game this, the pass game that. Run the ball. It sets everything else up for you. And this offense is clicking right now. Let's keep rolling. This is a good matchup for us with the Jags. Let's not stoop to their level. They're 1-13 right now. Let's come out and play like we're a team that's going to be in the playoffs. And when I say that, I'm saying come out just like we did against the Houston Texans. Put up some points, but don't stop putting up points. Do what the Saints did to the Vikings. Yeah. The Saints could have stopped. They could have. They had that game, but they kept going, kept grinding, kept putting up points. That's what needs to happen today for this Bears team. And then you go in next week with some confidence at home against the Packers. And all you got to do is beat them at home. You've done it before. 2018, you clinched the division on your home field against the Green Bay Packers. That's it. And you're in. That's it.
Yeah, we can only hope that game doesn't. We can only hope that game doesn't count for Green Bay, because if Aaron Rodgers has a shot to knock the Bears out of the playoffs, he's fucking taking it.
Dude, he's going to take a shot for sure.
It would be so Bears, and that's just where we would go. All right, let me finish off this thing. Mr. Aaron Current, the bearded Bears fan. What's up, dude?
What's going on, fellas? See Bobby kind of freezing and popping and locking on us this morning.
I'm trying not to make any sudden movements that you guys can get as fucking screen grabs of me with like my mouth open and dumb shit.
It's another beautiful day down here in Kentucky. My Wildcats forgot how to play basketball, but then the Niners, they pulled me out of the slums a little bit and gave me a W last night. So crack the door open for the Bears, and hopefully we kick that thing open. It's a Mike Glennon revenge game today. Bear down.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, if they have to start Glennon. I know they said they've gone back and forth, and some sites say that Glennon's starting, some say that Minshew is. But if you're trying to get Trevor Lawrence, you start Glennon. And that's it, hands down. I know, whatever. People don't say that, there's no tanking. There's fucking tanking. Maybe not for the players, but like Badge said, but there's definitely tanking for the organization where they want to go. And why wouldn't Lawrence want to go to the Jaguars? And you're tax free down there. You don't get taxed like you would if you got drafted up in New York. So whatever, man. All right. Last but not least, we got Mr. Mike Schaefer. Mike, what's up, dude?
What's up, everybody? For the first time, and I don't know how long, it feels good to be a Bears fan in the morning on Sunday. It feels good. And how about them 49ers? Like we can't open the show without acknowledging how awesome that victory was and the goosebumps that George Kittle delivered to the city of Chicago last night with that beautiful press conference showing.
Yeah.
How about that stuff? And I'll also say this. Thank God for the New York Jets, because the Jets' victory against the Rams definitely is the lesson is learned. And the Bears didn't have to learn the lesson on their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what can happen? We're not – I am 100% certain that the Bears are going into this game knowing that it is certainly possible the Jacksonville Jaguars can pull off this crazy upset, and they're going in there with clear heads, not looking ahead to Green Bay. So thank you, Adam Gase. Thank you, New York Jets, for fucking up the pick.
I love it.
That's definite.
Yeah, I'm still stuck, boys. I'm gonna head out, and you guys do your thing, and I'll see y'all in a little while.
All right, so let's get into this game last week, this Minnesota game, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think we all thought it would be close, but I was nervous, man. Having the defense on the field late, they did, they played well, but not up to their normal standards.
Right.
It was nice to see the offense continue to look good, put up points. That interception from Mitch late. Obviously he said in his press conference, and Aggie said it as well, something he'd like to have back. But other than that throw, I thought he played a really solid game. And you can see that he believes in what's happening, and the rest of the offense believes in what's happening, guys. And to me, if we can get this defense playing like they can, we're going to be a tough team to beat, fellas.
I think they got to stop bending. It's the bend, don't break. The Bears were on third down, and they were fantastic on fourth down last week. We had two huge fourth down stops in Bears territory that turned into points. That's, when it comes down to crunch time, they're not breaking. But the fact that the coverage is so soft and we're getting into those positions, that's something that's got to be eliminated this week. You can't win in the playoffs like that, allowing teams into the red zone as often as they have. But, I go back. The other thing I go back to, that Mitch interception, so he played a great game, but fantastic. Yeah. Interception, I think, was on him. I think Holtz, somebody ran a wrong route. He had two guys in the same exact spot in the corner of the end zone. I think Robinson's open if Holtz just stays at the goal line. So I don't know what the routes were there. I don't know what the play was, but I don't think that was on Mitch. Mitch played a fantastic game. The simplified game plan, the simplified offense, Mitch under center, right? 70% of snaps on Sunday were under center. I think I tweeted something this week about games that the Bears have won, or when Mitch does well, over 50% of snaps are under center. And they over-delivered on that. And you see the results, man. You have a simplified offense. The defense is on their toes or on their heels a little bit, not knowing what's coming. And you just got to hope that they can continue with that.
Let me ask you guys this question, Ace, and AC, I'll direct it to you. Do you care at all if the offense is simplified? As long as we're putting up points and winning games, it don't fucking matter, right?
Right. I care about the dub, man.
Yeah.
And what I saw last week, Trubisky was on it, dude. They ran the ball well, and I think Aldo put that clip up, that deep ball to Allen Robinson down the right side. How many times have we seen that ball go out of bounds or overthrown, and Mitch freaking dropped it right on him? Like Mike was talking about it, all except for the interception. He had a solid game. He was taking the underneath routes when he had to. If it was covered deep, he took off running a couple times if he had to. They get Darnell Mooney involved, who I'm freaking in love with. I said it last week. I'm buying his jersey this offseason. That's my offseason purchase. It's going to be a Darnell Mooney jersey. I just love the way the guy plays. And, man, I mean, the defense worried me. They stepped up when they had to and made fourth down stops. But, I mean, that was rough because, I mean, my heart was racing every time our defense went out. And we got the same issues today as we had last week. We got Jalen Johnson still out with the shoulder injury, and bust your screen with a concussion. So Kendall Vildor, who I thought played admirably for being thrust into position, and what's his name? Duke Shelley's going to be playing again. So we'll see them run it back and see how they do against this Jaguars offense.
Yeah, I think Shelley is. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
We said that last week that was a critical matchup in the game. Would the Vikings be able to take advantage of these two rookies? And those guys showed up. It wasn't an A+ performance. There was some blown coverage.
Well, Justin Jefferson's he's a great wide receiver. I mean, he put up numbers better than Randy Moss in his rookie year, and to me, I didn't grow. I mean, I saw Jerry Rice, but to me, Randy Moss was the dude when I was growing up. And I mean, I grew up in the '90s, so I guess I'm younger than some Bears fans. But I don't know, Randy Moss was always the dude when I was growing up, except for when he went to Oakland. But nobody played well in Oakland then.
No, they showed up last week. They deserve props, and hopefully they'll do that again today.
Yeah, Shelley, I know nursing an injury, so I believe it was Xavier Crawford that was just brought up from the practice squad. I want to say that I saw yesterday. So I think, I definitely think Duke will play. I don't think he's a guy that he's hurt enough where he's not going to be able to play. But, I know, we talked as the show started. I touched on the Niners winning yesterday. And we've got some audio from George Kittle here talking about the win and whatnot. We'll let you guys listen to this, and then we'll give you our reactions to it.
I will say this. I did grow up a Bears fan, and the fact that we helped the Bears a little bit just makes me a little happier. So, dub Bears. But thanks, guys.
Thank you, George. We got Fred here for you guys.
Dub Bears. I fucking love the Bears.
Yes. That in my veins all day today. I love this guy. Like, how do we get him to Chicago?
The Bears love you too, George Kittle.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I mean, how cool is that? Guy from another team, knowing that he helped the team he loved growing up, and just giving a shout out to the organization. Yeah. I mean, George Kittle, you're the man, dude. Like, that is huge. He's guy coming back off injury, had 7 catches, 92 yards, had some big plays for them to set up a couple of touchdowns. The only negative, I think, in that game was fucking Robbie Gold.
What
the hell happened to him?
For the Bears one more time. He tried his damnedest.
He certainly tried to spoil it for us there. But.
Yeah, there's the 41-yarder that he missed.
I mean, he's missing an extra point here, I think.
Yeah, missed an extra point, and then they sent him back out later on in the fourth, and he missed one wide left. Here it is right there. So, he had a rough day yesterday, but you know what? The Niners were still able to prevail, and guys, all the Bears got to do today is win.
Just win, baby.
You're still going, and then Matt, next week that's all of it. And, huge victory for the Niners yesterday to really help us. And I know you're a player on this Bears team. You're a player on this roster right now. And it's been a tough season. I mean, you talk about the highest of highs at 5-1 to lose 6 straight. Now here you've won 2 in a row with a chance to win 3. You got to win a 4th one to get in. But that 4th one, guys, comes against your division rival who beat your ass earlier this season.
Embarrassed you on Sunday night.
It embarrassed you, and now you've got that opportunity for a little bit of revenge to get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I mean, if the Packers don't win today, they have to win next week to lock up that 1 seed and have that first round bye. Because guess what? If they don't, guess who they got to play? If they lose to us, just the Bears again. Come on, we win next week and knock them out of that 1 spot, then have to play them again. Come on, the momentum's in the favor of the Bears. This is the time right here. This is the time to get hot. If you're a team approaching the playoffs, Get your run game going. Look at the Saints and what they did to the Vikings. Alvin Kamara fucking never had 20 carries in his career, and he ran roughshod over the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it just happened to be playing against me on the in the fantasy championship. I made it to the finals in one freaking league, and this guy's got Kamara, and I was like, well, game's over on Friday night. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're our run game is hitting it at the right time. You looked at Montgomery last week. I mean, we haven't even talked about Dave Montgomery yet. Guy had a phenomenal game, over 20 touches.
Giving it to him too. He just
I mean, he's been a top 5 running back the last 4 weeks, and that's what he's capable of. I mean, this guy, he breaks tackles. He runs aggressive.
I mean, to me, it all comes down to that offensive line, man. They're finally opening holes. They're gelling together, playing well. Charles Leno's played better over the last few weeks.
Yep.
I mean, Ifedi's holding his own at right tackle, but that middle of the line, Mustipher, Whitehair, and Bars are playing great. And I believe, I don't want to just throw you on the spot here, Aldo, but Cody, Whitehair was talking about the offensive line gelling and how they played well together and what they've been doing lately. So if we could cut to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're really, gelling well right now. Our schemes have been great. Guys have been executing the schemes that have been called. And, I think it just comes down to execution. And that's where we're at right now is we're just executing at a high level.
What impact would you point to that Juan Castillo has had on that?
I think just, honing in on the basics and the fundamentals and just hitting those every day. We start every day with practice with our fundamentals, and, that's what's carried us to help finish our blocks and be able to sustain our blocks to get David to the second level.
Yeah, which they have been doing inside week in and week out the last few weeks, guys. I love Sam Mustipher at the center position, and I really don't think Cody or James Daniels need to worry about going back there because he has played phenomenal. You saw, all week long, you saw the highlight of David Montgomery's touchdown run and Mustipher, not only
all
Cody
the way
Whitehair,
downfield. Yeah.
Oh, Sam Mustipher as well. He's helping Whitehair and then still has the ability to get up to that second level to clear that lane for David Montgomery. They have played lights out over these last few weeks, and they've really got something going. Here it is right there.
Look at that freaking lane. Golly. Make a fat man happy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Long-term option at center, too. This is depth. This is a smart center that knows how to play the game. I'm not just saying that because he went to Notre Dame, but he's a smart cat. Olin Kreutz on the radio this week, high praise for Mustipher. And, if anybody knows the center position well in this town, it's Olin Kreutz. And he sees him as a long-term fit. I think we're benefiting from the fact that he played with Bars at Notre Dame. So these guys know each other. But Bars has been great. He hasn't allowed a pressure on a pass attempt, I think, in 3 games. Yep. Go back to Detroit. I think we're seeing some long-term fits. I don't know where Bars fits in next year. I don't know if he can play tackle, but even if he's a depth piece in the interior.
I brought it up. I think I was in the comment section on Bear Football, our post-game show. I know we hate shuffling again, but Whitehair played tackle in college. I'm wondering if he could swing out the right tackle, put Bars at guard, have Mustipher at center, and put James Daniels back at guard when he comes back. I don't know how it'll work out. That would have to be up to the coaches in the training camp and whatnot to see how that plays out. But
it's funny how each of us looks at that, because if I look at that, I'm having Whitehair at left guard, Daniels at right guard, and I'm moving Bars out to right tackle because he's got some experience playing tackle too. And, and then you look to the draft, grab a tackle, hopefully a day one starter. That's just my thoughts. I
definitely think we need to draft O-line and cornerback depth, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you see where you're at, but this year is an indication that having depth on the interior line is necessary. So even if Bars is a second stringer on the interior line, or somebody else, or I don't see Daniels being a second stringer, but just the fact that you have depth in the interior line, maybe you draft, maybe there's something that's out there. There's still dollars tied up in Massey, correct?
Yeah, he's still got another year, I believe, on his deal.
Agency, but if you find somebody in the draft, you find somebody in the first, second round that maybe can slot in. That was the main area of weakness this year. That we all were like, "Wow, this line, they get injured, and there they are, they're injured." And in the cream filling part of our season, the 6-game losing streak, the beginning of that, it looked like that was going to be the demise of this team. And you move a couple pieces around, next thing you know, you're contending for a playoff spot.
Right.
Yeah, and you look back at that, guys, and not to belabor, our 6-game losing streak, but a lot of that had to do with who was at quarterback as well. I mean, yes, they were trying to figure out the offensive line, but Nick Foles clearly isn't a guy that fits this offense like Matt Nagy and everybody else thought. And now you see that with a little protection, what this offense is able to do by using your quarterback the way he wants to be used and the way it fits your offense. And you look at what they've done in the coaching staff making these changes. This is huge. And this team has been putting up points left and right. And, somebody's got to figure out how to shut it down, or there's a really good chance for this team to make a very deep playoff run. What that means for the up aboves, the coaches, Ryan Pace, I don't care. If this team goes out and fucking wins the Super Bowl, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, that will be the second Super Bowl I've seen in my lifetime. That's what I give a shit about, is those trophies coming back here. How it happens and what happens leading up to that, that's all part of the process. Does it suck going through it? Yeah, it fucking sucks. Losing 6 games, that was horrible. But if it got you to the point where you're playing for a Lombardi trophy and you bring that home, dude, it don't fucking matter.
Yeah. I don't know what this coaching staff saw on the O-line that was keeping Rashad Coward in there. And that was another part of the 6-game losing streak that was mind-boggling to me, because we've all been calling for Bars, really all year, and Coward's a great dude, friend of the bar room. He's been on this network, but he's just not to the level of a starting guard in this league. And that's plain and simple. Maybe he'll get there in a few years. Maybe he's a practice squad or a depth piece like we were talking about earlier, but he's just not a starter. And we all saw it. I didn't know. I didn't see him in practice, so I don't know what the coaches were seeing, but it's evident that Mustipher and Bars are leaps and bounds above Coward.
Badge, I'm curious to know how your opinion or how your stance has changed on Nagy. Go back a few weeks ago, and you were leading the charge for Nagy getting out of town. My perspective on this is, I don't care how long it took us to get here, but we got here. And we found a winning formula. And last week, I think we talked about the fact that this team hasn't given up on their head coach, which is remarkable considering what they've gone through. And so it says a lot about his leadership. It says a lot about his cohesiveness. And my belief is, if you throw that out the window and you bring somebody else in to a team that has gelled and a team that is good, you risk that falling apart. You risk losing that cohesion. What's your take, or is your take change the last couple of weeks? If Matt Nagy can continue this and the Bears make the playoffs, let's say they lose the first game in the playoffs. Let's say they get there but lose. How has your opinion changed?
So to me, Matt Nagy at this point, I don't know that he's fully saved his job, but this is a guy who should have given up play calling, I almost want to say year one. That first season, I just think things went so well. Everything seemed to work in their favor. But then last season, you could see it early on. He just doesn't have a rhythm, a flow. It's almost like he's just picking things to call them.
Like
and
Madden.
now you see the change with Bill Lazor calling plays. I've said on this show, I think Nagy as a head coach, I think the guy can be a head coach. It's the offensive play calling that has hindered him. You know, you see some of these coaches, the Kyle Shanahan's, Cliff Kingsbury in yesterday's game. Those are guys that can do that. Nagy, it doesn't work for him. Now he's got something that's working. The team clearly is playing for him. The team values him. You heard Cordarrelle Patterson come out this week and say everybody has his back. If that's what it takes and this continues like this, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. As long as he does not go back to calling offensive plays.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
And I get it. You know, I'm a pro Nagy guy for obvious reasons. But I feel like if you come in, I mean, the reason where I understand where you're coming from is if you come in as an offensive guru, but you can't do that, you can't call plays, then, you know, what's the leadership really worth? What's the culture really worth? So I'm with you there. And the other thing is the fact that it did take us 2.5 years to get here. What's the thing that's going to take him 2.5 years to realize? You know, most of me hates to lose a guy that's early on in his career. He's got promise, and I hate to see him go somewhere else and be a Hall of Fame coach and think back and say, well, we had him and we could have kept him if he just would have, you know, we could have, you know, kind of helped him develop. But yeah, I was curious to hear how your take has changed.
Yeah, I just think had he recognized sooner that he wasn't a play caller, I think this season is completely different. I mean, if you start out with Bill Lazor calling plays week one and they actually took the input from Mitch and what he wanted to do prior to this season, imagine how different Mitch's career might be. If they start, I get it. It's hey, you've got to earn it. I totally understand where they came from last week. But if you've been taking his input and he's been telling you what he likes and doesn't like all this time, and you haven't been playing to his strengths until now, to me, that's a fireable offense because you're not recognizing your players and their skill set and what they're good at and what they're not. And then you also see that with the offensive line too. I mean, yes, you have position coaches, but Nagy's the head coach. So, you know, he controls all that, and he comes out and says that. You know, I think as the head coach, he should have a little bit more of a hand in the defense. I know a lot of us had problems with him calling out the defense a few weeks ago. This is something he should have been doing from the jump. Look at Mike Zimmer. Look what Mike Zimmer does. Mike Zimmer yesterday said his defense was garbage. Garbage. That's okay for a coach to do that. It's not really that big of a deal, but because it hadn't happened from Nagy, everybody was like, holy shit. He has to have the freedom and the ability to be able to do that. And he hasn't. It's okay to do it, coach. Be open, be honest. I mean, I felt from the jump that he was going to be an open and honest coach. And then he started to turn like into Fox a little bit where I'm not going to say it. Don't matter, coach. You can do this as a head coach. You don't need to be the play caller. If you're the head coach of a team that wins a Super Bowl, who gives a fuck how you got there?
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I think it to me, it comes down to the next 2 weeks. If he can get us into the playoffs, I think his job is at least safe through the next year because that's where he's under contract for. Pagano, on the other hand, I'm tired of him. I mean, you want to sit back in zone and drop 8 against Aaron Rodgers, he's going to tear you apart all day. And if you didn't realize that going into the game, then that's on you. But just like Mike said, even through the 6-game losing streak, he never lost the players. We actually have a clip of Tashawn Gibson talking about Coach Matt Nagy. So this would be a good segue to that clip, and then we can pick up after that and talk some more about this coaching.
You know, it's just one of the things where you're going way back to it's not easy to start 5-1 and it's like everything is just going right. Everything is just falling the way that things should be, man. You couldn't have scripted that start from epic comebacks to just, the way that it was going to go on a 6-game losing streak and for it to look like the house is on fire, for a guy to stay that poised and in each week, man, it just, he never changed. He never wavered. It wasn't he was changing or his attitude and the energy that he was putting out was different. He came in with the same attitude, the same mindset, man, the same energy that he did when we was 5-1. And I think that guys took notice to that. And when you have a guy like that, you want to win football games for him. You want to play hard for him. And obviously in a 6-game losing streak, man, things just wasn't going right for us. So obviously, man, him at the helm, him as the leader of this team, it just was, he was able to just continue to stay poised, man. And I think people fed off that. And, if he's not panicking, why should we? And, like I say, man, we got a great group of guys on this team to be able to accomplish the things that we need to, man. And with him leading the charge, man, I wouldn't want to play for nobody else in this situation, man. He did what he had to do to get us back on track, and here we are sitting at 7-7 and a good possibility to accomplish the things that we set out to.
Huge, man. They clearly have his back and have all season. So that says a lot too. I mean, that first year when we brought in guys like Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, Taylor Gabriel, Allen Robinson said he wanted to come here and play for Matt Nagy. So these guys clearly like this guy and they like playing for him. So again, for us as fanalists to sit here and say, oh, Jesus, this guy, he don't know what he's doing. Well, clearly the players feel very differently about it.
Right.
So
Sean Gibson's been around the league, so he's played for some other coaches. I mean, he played for that guy down in Houston who no longer has a job. So I feel like he knows bad coaching when he sees it. I was right there with you, Badge. I had my pitchfork and torch out a couple of weeks ago, and now how can you fire a guy if he takes you to the playoffs? We still hear about Lovie Smith getting fired after a 10-win season all these years later. I don't see how you can fire a guy if he's able to turn it around and get all these players to play hard for him, regardless of how the season plays out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it would be wishful thinking on a lot of Bears fans' parts if they want him out of town, considering, regardless of, let's say we don't even make the playoffs, considering the circumstances that surrounded 2020 and the way they've made decisions in the past, it is very unlikely.
Financially, the way the McCaskies are going to look at it is they've lost money this year anyway. Yeah. I don't see them paying 2 coaches.
Yeah, that's the other thing too is, God forbid we go out and fall flat on our face today, because that's not good. And then if it happens next week too, if you get through today and then you get to next week, you cannot go out against Green Bay and do what you did the last time, because I think if the defense had been called a little bit different and they were we talked about it. Well, I was sick as shit, so I didn't even watch a game, but we talked about it prior to saying how you have to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. It's a known fact. If you pressure a quarterback, look what the Niners did to Kyler Murray.
Tampa Bay showed you the blueprint.
Yep.
Tampa Bay, exactly. The Niners yesterday, they had no Bosa. They had guys on defense other than Fred Warner who they came off the street and were hitting Kyler Murray.
Kawan Williams, who had a big game yesterday, I think he played here at one point, did he not? I feel like I remember that name. Or maybe he played somewhere close to here, but I feel like I remember that name, Kawan Williams, when his name kept popping up.
And speaking of Pagano, I know we've got some audio here from Pagano, and we'll have Aldo go ahead and drop that in.
Well, I always credit the offense, for executing and doing their job. I got to do a better job, like I always say, in certain situations from a preparation standpoint, call standpoint. We can all play better. We can coach better, execute better. show signs where we're really, really good, and then we have lapses and give up some big plays. A couple series, in that game last week where, bing, bang, boom, and they're right down the field and score a touchdown. So that's not us. That's not our identity. We did do some good things, in that game. We had a couple, you may have missed them. Brad, there was a couple stops in the red area that were big, and a couple fourth down plays that were pretty big. I know we like to dwell on the negative stuff, especially around Christmas time, but I'm being funny, Brad. No, you're good. It's all good, man. It's all good. The bottom line at the end of the day, what did I say a couple of weeks back? Stats are for who? We all know who, okay? And we know what the expectations are. I want to shut everybody out. Our guys want to shut everybody out. We want to be the best coaches we can be. Our players want to be the best players they can be. Nobody tries to do anything on purpose. So there were some good things, and we did get the dub. So I'll take it.
I mean,
Man,
that's all well and good. I'm going to go back to last season when Chuck Pagano was hired at Bears 100. Greg Braggs asked it right from the jump. You sent an all-out blitz week 1, first play of the game at Aaron Rodgers. His answer was, yeah, we're going all out. Where was that? Where has it been? I mean, even the plays over the last 2 weeks, like the plays Roquan made, the 2 sacks he had, and was our clean sack of the game last week. Those were just Roquan making plays. That's not him blitzing.
Mm-hmm.
Where are those? I mean, this is something he clearly excels at. And Chuck, for some reason, loves to sit back in this zone and allows players. I mean, he's allowing quarterbacks to pick us apart. These quarterbacks are too good in this league. And you got to go after the quarterback. Mike Glennon today, if he's really starting, if I'm Mike Glennon, I'm scared as shit because Khalil Mack on one side, Robert Quinn had a sack last week, hit the quarterback multiple times. I'm scared as shit just for those two. But then if Chuck starts dialing it up and bringing pressure, and you got Trevathan and Roquan coming, maybe bringing Tashawn Gibson on a blitz, I mean, I'd be scared as shit if I'm Mike Glennon today, especially you're going against a team where you already know Akeem Hicks don't fucking like Mike Glennon. You saw it that season when he fucking damn near knocked him right off his feet.
Yeah. I agree. We got to get after him. Pagano's that when he just said bing, bang, boom down the field and scored, I was like, what the fuck is that, dude? You're a defensive coordinator. You were brought in here. You were talked about applying pressure. You know that's how you beat great quarterbacks is hitting them in the face. You know what I'm saying? And yet you stayed back. You can't do that. You got to go after these guys. And you talk about Mike Glennon. We thought we had a statue back there in the pocket when Foles was in. Mike Glennon is exactly that. So I'd love to see them start getting after it. I'd like to see, maybe some slot corner blitzes. I feel like we haven't seen that since Fangio left town.
Yeah.
But I feel like our defense can take advantage today, and I feel like we should have a good game against these guys. Now, granted, nothing is guaranteed because these Jaguars gave the Packers everything they can handle just a couple of weeks ago. But
didn't you guys see the 2 good plays last week? What's with guys? Gee, there's 2 good plays we had last week.
Yeah.
A joke, and Pagano's saying, "Hey, I'm just being funny." Well, nobody's laughing, Chuck. I mean, the way that this defense is played, we've been calling better game plans on this fan show for weeks. Be aggressive. And they get aggressive, and look what happens. We sack the quarterback. Cousins fumbles. Things start to happen. I don't understand it. I really don't understand how I can call a better game than Chuck. But that comment pissed me off.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at 2 plays. I'm looking at the book of work, man. I'm looking at the polls. I'm looking at the number of times the team's getting into the red zone under you compared to the same team under Vic Fangio. It's night and day difference. So as a fan, that was pretty irritating to hear.
Right. And Fangio had times where he would sit back in zone, and that would drive us crazy too.
Sure.
But it wasn't the whole freaking game. And like, this isn't working, let's change something up. No, it's like, this isn't working. Well, if we just call it one more time, maybe it'll work this time. Y'all saw us make the tough on.
Yeah, that's the difference, though, from Fangio to Pagano, I think, is Fangio can adjust, and he's got other parts of his scheme that work really well. Where Pagano, it's this or, well, shit, I guess we'll have to try to do something different, or, you know, like, what can we do? And I agree, Mike. These are good questions, and it's about time. And I'm not trying to hate on the Chicago media. They should be asking tough questions. You guys are getting paid millions of dollars to coach a team, and when it's not going right, you've got to be prepared to face the music. It happens. That's what it is. I mean, if you're not excelling in your job, if you're not doing your job right, you're going to get questioned on it, no matter what you do, whether it's making fries at McDonald's or selling cars or no matter what.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it right, you're going to get some heat. And, you know, Pagano, I get that he's trying to laugh and joke and make it funny and whatever. Good for him. You know, great. But you guys had a 6-game losing streak, and your defense was giving up pretty much 400 yards a game. Now, not throughout the entire 6-game losing streak, but over the last couple weeks, it's been rough.
Yeah.
So, struggle.
Yeah, and tell us what you learned from this. Tell us how the game plan's going to change. You know, tell us the details, but tell us what you learned. Don't patronize the media for asking a good question. It's, you know, we've seen this defense just continually. The coverage is just so soft, the zone coverage. Like Eddie Jackson once was a promising Pro Bowl caliber safety. We haven't heard his name much this year.
Yep.
You know,
they've taken him out of this defense. He was a guy that in 2018, the way he was used in Fangio's scheme, he was the ball hawk. He was the guy that was to, you know, we need a pick, you're the guy. And that's what he did. Since Fangio's come here, you look at what Eddie Jackson has done, he is on the decline. I mean, he struggled to tackle. I mean, I know people were shouting him out for a tackle he made last week. Well, it's his fucking job. It's the tackle. Right. I mean, sorry, but that should be a no-brainer at this point.
Yeah.
We need impact plays from this defense. We need takeaways, and you need them against good teams and bad teams. Obviously, I'm not overlooking the Jaguars here because while I know the Bears have been playing much better, you just can't look past this. And even though the Jags are probably going to lay down, you can't look past them.
Just like Mike said, we thought the Jets were just going to lay down and get their quarterback for the future, but they decided let's go out here and beat the LA Rams, who are a playoff team. It's not like they just beat some 4-win Bengals team or something. They went out and beat the Rams.
Yeah, I think
the Bears. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, the Bears have learned their lesson through the Rams, so I don't see that happening today. It's a night and day scenario too, though. I think, you know, you've got the Bears fighting for their lives, in control of their destiny. A Jacksonville team that's also seen what can happen when you play hard or when you put the pieces to win. You can pull a Jets, you know. So I think both sides are going to be ultra cautious this afternoon. But I think I'm grateful that happened last week.
I think the other part to this too is, you know, we talk about Pagano and the pass defense, but the run defense hasn't really been up to par either. You look at what Dalvin Cook did last week.
Right.
Now, we've primarily shut him down. You know, well, Akeem Hicks went out in the first matchup, and all of a sudden he started to break loose. You know, and now you sit here and you look at last week, and Cook basically he was just waiting for the defensive line to push his offensive line or vice versa to one side, and Cook was taking the cutback lane. He did it all game long. I mean, here it is here. Short run.
Yeah.
He just looked for that little hole. There was
fell forward all game,
Yeah. He just waited for that end to get sealed off, and boom, he bounced it outside. So I want to see a little bit better production in that run defense. Now, obviously, today the Bears have a little bit of a breather because James Robinson isn't going for the Jaguars. So that's got to be a little bit of a big relief for this Bears defense. It'll be interesting to see how the run defense fares today.
Well, I feel like even when the pass defense
Wapalole. Anybody do their homework on Dare Ugunbalowe or whatever his name is? What we got back there?
So he's the starter today?
Yeah. A guy out of Wisconsin. And I think he played a couple years for Tampa. Really hasn't touched the ball that often. So the stars are in line right now for the Bears to just mop this Jags team. But, yeah, I'm just kidding about Dare Ugunbalowe, because I did write down, Darren, what the fuck is his name?
Yeah, it reminds me of Joel Iyiegbuniwe, but being that he's on our roster, it's a little bit easier for us to say it because we've had to learn it over the years.
Somehow he acquired the nickname Iggy.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, right? So we were talking about Matt Nagy earlier. We've talked about this team, and you can tell they're playing with a little bit of oomph. They recognize what's in front of them, and we've got a little video of Nagy talking about the team swag.
I would say yes. I really would. The guys are, the guys have still, and I told you this before, but they were dancing in practices even during that 6-game losing streak. It feels a little bit different right now. And so they're having fun. They're in a good place, but they got to understand, and it's our job as coaches is to make sure that nothing has changed, right? For us, zero has changed. And so we got to make sure, it's okay to get that swag and have that. But on Sunday, you got to make sure you're doing exactly what we've been doing, and enjoying it and having fun.
Well, I think they're actually having fun again. I think that was missing for a little bit. And, even that Detroit game, yes, granted we lost, but you could tell the team was energized. And Nagy felt it, in the pregame. And you can see it now a little bit. And I get it. It's got to be hard to do, especially whether you're home or on the road and not having fans in the stands. It's got to be hard to get amped. But I think these guys are doing it. I think they recognize what's in front of them, and they've got a perfect opportunity. Now, today in Jacksonville, they believe they have fans in the stands. So it should be pretty normal.
They did have some earlier this season. I haven't looked to make sure they still have fans in the stands, but I'm pretty sure they're at like a 15% capacity or something.
Yeah, they do. They do, and I think a lot of them are going to be wearing blue and orange, to be honest with you. They travel well. And there were a lot of Bears fans in Tennessee. And I do expect that you're going to be probably 50-50 Bears fans, Jags fans. So that little intangible might give us a little. But Bears are also coming yesterday too. Just like us as fans, we woke up this morning and we're like, 49ers. The players got to have that feeling too. They don't have to scoreboard watch during the game. That game is over. And they're in a game for the first time as a sitting in a playoff seed right now. And you got to hope that maybe the defense, right? Because I think that the offense has been playing with a ton of swag lately. The defense, not quite as much, a little bit here or there, but maybe today we get that extra oomph from the defense. Maybe Eddie Jackson makes that tackle we've been berating him about.
Or that pick.
Maybe a pick six if we're getting bold with a prediction. Not to throw that out there too early, but I think all that adds an extra amount of juice in the veins today for the players, with that Frisco game being yesterday. Yeah,
totally, Mike. I totally agree with you. And, I think as we look to this game, this is like a fastball sitting on a tee that this is the pitch you've been waiting for. It's game set, not to go to a baseball analogy, but it's game 7 of the World Series. You're down 3, the bases are loaded, 2 outs, 3-2 count, and the pitcher fucks up and throws you a meatball, and you drive this thing out of the ballpark. That's what this is for the Bears today. I mean, this is right there. You win this game, it comes down to the team you hate more than anything in your home stadium with a chance to possibly take the number 1 seed away from them, depending on what happens to them today as they play the Tennessee Titans. I think it's actually on Sunday Night Football. And if they win, all right, maybe that locks up the number 1 seed for them, which I think it does. But so maybe they don't have anything to play for, but that shouldn't change how you need to go out and play. It shouldn't change it at all. It's win out and you're in. Yes, some other things can happen where you get into, but you've got to control your own destiny. And it starts today at 1 p.m. with this game against the Jaguars. You got to ball out today.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I don't want to look ahead, but I'm looking ahead. And I think just like everybody else, I would rather the Bears not to have to face Aaron Rodgers, who just hates the Bears. But part of me kind of wants me to beat them at their best. I don't know what's wrong with me for wanting that, but to go to the Super Bowl, ultimately, if we make the playoffs, you're going to have to get through them anyway. So, let's be. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to look ahead. I don't know. I mean, I think the Seahawks might have to lose a game. Like, there's all sorts of moving parts to this whole thing for the Packers to clinch today, I believe. But you see a lot of people, kind of going back and forth on that topic too. How do you want to play the Packers? How do you want to end your season? Do you want to end your season with a cupcake victory and then face that same team again in the playoffs, or a team that's like hungry and ready to maul you, or do you want to beat a team at their best? I don't know.
I definitely want to play them with Rodgers. I mean, if that puts us out, then so be it. And as far as Nagy goes, the way we look in that game, to me, will determine whether I want him back or not. I mean, I don't make that decision, obviously. I mean, I'm not a shareholder like a Packers fan. I'm just a fanalist, So, but if we go out and get embarrassed again by the Packers, I mean, the Packers have sealed a lot of Bears coaches' fates. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nagy, he beats all the other teams. It's just those damn cheeseheads up north that we just can't get past them, man. Even when we have a great game. There's my boy Mac. I think he's going to have a great game today. So,
I mean, you go back to 2018, though, guys. Granted, it was Fangio, not Pagano, his scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, we got Rodgers, 4 or 5 times? Mm-hmm. Mac had 2 or 3 himself. Floyd got him again when he was here. So we can hit it. We can get to this guy. We got to get to him. Is he a phenomenal quarterback? Yes, he's a phenomenal quarterback. He 100% is going to go down as one of the great quarterbacks, no matter how many Super Bowls he wins. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we've done it before. Yes, it hasn't been enough, but I always go back to Lovey, right? And what was the first thing Lovey said when asked about, this division? Well, we got to beat the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to hear from a coach coming in here. First and foremost, we got to beat the shit out of the Green Bay Packers, and then focus on the division. Like, that's what I want to hear from a coach. Nagy's luck.
It's one and the same. I mean,
yeah,
winning division and beating Green Bay is basically the same thing because they're up there every single year. So it should be the motto. It should be beat Green Bay. Because if you beat Green Bay, you're beating the best team. You're beating the team that for 2 straight decades has just dominated the North. 3 straight decades. I can't even keep track anymore. It's been so many damn decades. But
yeah, we talked about it. That first matchup. You know, I mean, the history between the two teams, I can't remember. I was watching the show, AC, but it was the Bears led for a majority of that series. And then, you know, you got to the 90s and forget about it. The Packers have dominated.
Brett Favre shows up, and the rest is history. What do you guys think about A-Rob playing against his former team? He was questionable coming into the game, but I think it's going to take hell or high water. He's going to be playing in this ball game against a team who gave up on him. Let's not beat around the bush and act any other way. Once he got hurt, they wrote him off in Jacksonville.
I don't think it's a revenge game for A-Rob. Just listening to him in his interviews, A-Rob don't. He's a chill dude, man. He don't care about. Yeah, he's coming back to play his old team. There may be people around that area that he still knows and that he's, you know, friends with and whatnot. To him, I don't think. I was listening to somebody today.
The Glennon family running across the field.
Ready for the game today. Stretching out.
I was watching that prediction show this morning before we came on, and one of the guys was talking about a revenge game for A-Rob. I don't think it's a revenge game for A-Rob. Yeah. I think he's going to go out. He's going to take this like any other game. I think he'll have a great game. And then you've got the Glennon revenge game. And you know, I don't see that shit either. Mike Glennon made $30 million off the fucking Bears organization. What does he have any piece of fucking revenge for? He knew he stunk. He knew he wasn't going to fucking last long here. They had just drafted a quarterback with the number 2 overall pick. He knew if he stunk, he was going to get benched. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened. Mr. fucking knee fumble, for God's sake. I
agree, but I think a lot of the Jacksonville coaches are still around that were there when A-Rob is there. So I'm kind of hoping they pay a little extra special attention to him and open up Mooney. You know, maybe they focus on a guy that you know doesn't necessarily see it as a revenge game. But yeah, I think I agree with Badge more on that one. Where A-Rob just doesn't seem like that guy, like that wants to be back. But you never know.
I tried to set the stage.
Back. Look who's back.
Look at this guy.
I don't know if this thing's even working, man. I took my daughter's Chromebook. I was trying to use that. This piece of shit ain't working, dude. I'm about to break about 12 things in this house and see. I'm pretty sure I'm still freezing. I don't know if I'm freezing or not, but I've been listening and sitting behind the scenes kind of. But I don't know. It's A-Rob's first time going back to Jacksonville, right? Yep. I know they played him here, in Chicago in 2016, but it's first time going back to Jacksonville. I don't know. Maybe he does want to prove something. Maybe he does want to show him, you know, like whatever. But then again, it's not like it's not like the first meeting, right? And it's not like he couldn't have been showing him the whole damn time. So I don't think it's really a revenge game. I think it's, if nothing else, it's a damn trap game. Glennon fucking garbage ass. I mean, the running back's out. One of their wide receivers are out, and then we're gonna turn around and get. Yeah, that was me.
Live footage of Bobby.
Dude, just break it. Just break it. You know. And then
Gary's got all those cell numbers. She's texting him fucking.
Dude, Carrie just left for work, but she's like tiptoeing around like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just fucking mad.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Man, you got a belly laugh out of me on that one.
But yeah, it's been brutal, man. You know, I've been in and out, dudes. So wherever you guys are going, just go. I'll hop in. You know, we'll go from there.
Well, we're talking about this Jacksonville game, Bobby, and you know, we were just talking about A-Rob and whether or not it's a revenge game for him. You know, we've heard the revenge game for Glennon, which I don't think any of us really think it's a revenge game for Glennon. I mean, he's left us. He went to where the Raiders and.
Then Arizona, right? Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think he went to Arizona first, then to the Raiders, now over to look at Glennon's one of those players. He doesn't have to fucking do anything to be in the league. It's obvious.
No,
he hasn't done anything. Yeah, he hasn't done anything anywhere. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he's like wise in the quarterback room. Maybe he helps young quarterbacks somewhat develop. He doesn't play football. Like, we know that much.
He was a hell of a backup in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So, quite possible, that he was there for that reason, and then the Minshew thing, but now they're just tanking. Neither of these guys, Minshew probably will, but Glennon's not going to be on the Jaguars next season. And he's basically putting out there, they're throwing him in there to go lose. The thing is, this
just
Bears
don't win this game.
Yeah,
that's probably what they're telling him.
And the thing is,
Mike.
Even with them missing their, their top their running backs, their backups, and I heard Mike mention what's his name earlier. We'll just call him Ogun. Ogunwale or Ogunbawale. That dude's had 4 carries this year. You know what I mean? Their backup running backs collectively have had 11 carries.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's one of those games where it's just setting up perfect for us to fucking shit the bed. They battled well against the Vikings. They battled well against the Packers. I think the Packers game was a 24-20. That's all they beat them.
Yeah.
And this game, Jacksonville's won their first game of the season against the Colts, and they've dropped every game after. So do they have something to prove? Can they come out and be the San Francisco against us? Can they come out and be like, hey, Chicago's in the playoffs. The only thing we really have to play for is the players, is to spoil their playoff chances. Now, the owners are like, whoa, slow down. Fuck, what are you guys doing? Yeah. Like, you're going to kill us here if you do that, right? But I don't know, man. I just hate that it's one of those games. And then I don't trust this Bears team. We've all been, we're the beaten dogs, man. We've all been beaten enough that something gets close and we start wagging our tail and we end up getting a damn boot to the side of the head and thrown backwards again. And then everybody wants the whole team fired. And this guy sucks, that guy sucks, and whatever. And I don't know, man. I know this whole line has come together really nice. I love another fear that I currently have, and I know we're not talking about it right now, but Lazer's come out and done great, man. And he's basically making himself a resume. It's quite possible that there's only 2 games left in this season. Has Laser got himself a job somewhere else? Has he changed his offense enough to not be here next year? I think that's a possibility. But obviously, let's just go with what's in front of us right now.
We got a clip of Bill Lazor if you want to kick to it, Aldo.
So really, that's during the week for the whole staff as we go through balancing what we do best, what we think hurts them, and what are the matchups. And the fact that you have, really A-Rob has a lot of great qualities, obviously, and you all know him. You've known him longer than I have. For a guy to be this productive, he has to, right? But one of the great qualities he has is his intelligence. His football intelligence as well as his just overall intelligence. You guys spend time talking with him. This guy understands football. He can adjust. He has ideas. He understands the leverage of players. He understands how plays work. I've heard him talk to Mitch about, well, if such and such happens and they do this to my route, you're going to have Anthony Miller wide open. He understands the whole play. And so because he's like that, you really, and you brought it up in the question, you can put him in all different spots and find different ways to get it. So he allows us during the week game planning to really have maximum flexibility.
Yeah. A-Rob, we all know, is a baller. He's a playmaker. You've seen what he's done, this season. Already over 100 catches, already over 1,000 yards. I think his touchdown numbers are down a little bit. But, he's a guy that's going to have to get addressed in the offseason, unfortunately. Clearly he's not going to get a contract at this point. But you clearly recognize by what Bill Lazor just said how valuable he is to this team.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a guy you want to see walk out the door? I don't think so.
Now they've got themselves in this predicament. You can't. Do you franchise tag A-Rob and then you don't have nothing for Mitch. You're gonna have to work something out for him. If so, you're already stuck with Foles for next year. And if Mitch has obviously performed under Laser, so this is just a bunch of miscues and mismanagement, I think, and letting this shit hang in the winds. Like they went and extended Tariq, and
well, they didn't really have a choice with Mitch. I mean, nobody here was like, we need to pick up that 5th-year option. Nobody was saying that. So
yeah.
The A-Rob thing, they could have gotten that. They could have gotten that figured out when both teams, the team and the player, wanted to stay. And now it seems more and more A-Rob is going to be out the door. I mean, he'll never come out and say that publicly, but they could have knocked that one out. But as far as the Mitch situation, nobody. If they would have picked up the 5th-year option, that would have been it would have been the laughing stock of the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they still could have did some sort of contract deal, I think. But I guess, in the long run, looking at everything, there wasn't enough confidence. But I'm just saying, like, we're going to be out of a. I mean, I don't know, maybe not. There's a lot of things that could be done, but the A-Rob thing is definitely concerning that they didn't go out and try to keep him around. And I don't know what it does for the other players. What does it show for other players on this team that you can come to this team and produce and be a big part of this offense, and then your future is still, out in the winds, and who knows what's going to happen.
And I never expected that we would be here, but if we're talking about like keeping Mitch and we're talking about reasons why he would want to,
right?
If he's gone and we're doing it so we can save dollars to pay Mitch, like Mitch isn't going to stay. I mean, who's his number one? What do you get for agency? Not much, because you don't have the dollars to do it. So well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, I think. And God, I never thought we'd be sitting here talking about, trying to concoct a plan to keep Mitch Trubisky on this team. But here we are.
Yeah, you're right. And we're not the only ones. I mean, that thing's going around all over, and it just shows you how us as fans and Chicago as a the city, the wave, man, the roller coaster of like, get him the hell out of here. Oh, he's the best, and it's always been so cutthroat and very judgmental when it comes to mistakes. You got guys who, like we all said, Mitch just can't play in Nagy's offense. I think Nagy thinks that Mitch is something bigger than he is. And Laser is intelligent enough to get back to the RPO and to get back to, all the play action and get back to what Mitch does. Nagy wants, to soup up a fucking damn, tiny ass car where Laser's like, hey,
Corolla, isn't that what Mitch drove?
Yeah. Where Laser's like, hey, we can work with this kid. And look at I think he's, since Laser took over, he's like 4th in the league in completion percentage. And I mean, he's balling out. Is he a top fucking 10 quarterback? Hell no. But is he 4th in the league right now? Yeah, he is. And
as
overall,
far as other teams coming to grab Laser, I mean, they'll look at that and say, he made Mr. Trubisky look good, and he made Andy Dalton look serviceable in Cincinnati. Maybe let's see what he can do with Deshaun Watson per se, or in Jacksonville. I can't think of not Minshew, the guy they're going to draft. Trevor Lawrence. Let's see how he does with this guy.
I think back to Bobby's original point about potentially losing Laser. Like, yeah, I think that's a realistic possibility. Last week we were like, no, there's not enough of a resume. But if he strings together a couple more wins and gets him into the playoffs, and we all know because of him, it's not because of Matt Nagy. I think that becomes a big concern. He's done it before too. He did it in Cincinnati. I think he was in Miami too, right? And responsible for some sort of.
He was a running backs coach, I think, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember his name coming up in head coach searches, but I expect that we'll start to see that. So.
Well, it's a win now league, guys. It's a
win.
Putting
up 30 points a game, there's no way he's not going to be brought up.
I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? And that's what gets guys contracts. I mean, you look at Laser and what he's been able to do with Mitch. You look at Mitch and what he's been able to do. there may be a team out there like New England, which we've talked about. I'm sure other networks have talked about that. The Cam Newton thing didn't go well. Thank fucking God he didn't come here. But
yeah,
the Patriots now may be willing to say, hey, shit, if Bill Lazor can make things work with this guy, holy hell, we can do it too. They may throw Mitch a 3-4 year extension just to get him in and use him the same exact way he's being used with us.
Yeah.
Any of that is possible.
What are the options for Mitch around the league, though? It's not like Mitch is fucking clamoring and he's going to be waiting for us to give him an extension. He might just be like, screw you guys. Like I've been telling you for the last couple of seasons, you never took my advice. And then these last 4 games or these last 6 games, whatever it ends up being, right? Then hopefully it's 9. But either way, like you finally took my advice and then we turned around like, no, I'm done with you guys. And I think it was either NFL Network. I forgot where I heard it, but if the Bears if we put up 30 points today, this is the first time that we've had 30 plus points in 4 games in a row since like 1965.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I know that there's stats and I know that there's numbers, whatever, but it's the first time that we've scored 30 plus points 4 games in a row since 1965. That's Bill Lazor. Like that's a resume bullet to throw on there.
I think before the Green Bay game, as I was starting to do a little bit of homework and prepare notes, I was looking at I don't know, I forget what team it was, but I was looking at that threshold of 30 points per game. And I was thinking to myself, God damn, if the Bears could ever get to a point, what would that be like as a fan that your team can score 30 points a game? And here we are, like 6-7 weeks later, and it feels damn good to know that this team can take the field today and put up 35 points. It's realistic. 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, that was like, you kidding me? Like, what are you saying if you're telling me this team can put up 30 points?
It's like we've watched 3 seasons this year. You had the 5-1 season, then you had the 0-6 season, and even at the tail end of it, we could see the offense kind of picking up. Yep. And now you've got the 2-0 season where the offense is just on fire and the defense is doing just enough to squeak by. Unless
the reverse
the Lions.
I'm gonna call this the reverse Oreo season because the cream fillings have been on the outsides. It's been roller coaster.
Yeah, it really has been, and I just want to see us now continue the loop-de-loop. Like we're freaking clicking on all cylinders. We get that defense righted around. And now I want to see what this is what the team, if this defense gets righted around, this is the bar that they should have been at the start of the season. And I think we're starting to see that. I think this is what has been expected here. You get through year 1 with Coach Nagy. You're 12-4. You go to the playoffs. Obviously, you lose first round. Parkey makes that kick, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. That changes a lot of shit. And that makes your team that more presentable to people in the offseason. So maybe you draw interest from players guys that we probably weren't even talking about on the show that could come here. So then you go to last season and, from the jump, things, didn't start off well. And it kind of just got progressively worse to this. Holy shit, we started 5-1. Nobody expected us to be 5-1. We may have expected it as fans, but no experts predicted us sitting there at 5-1. Then we go on the 6-game losing streak, and those experts are like, yeah, see, we told you. We knew this fucking team wasn't worth the shit. So now you're to this point. You've got to continue doing what you're doing to play to the strengths of your team. We've got a kicker, so we don't have to worry about missed kicks and things like that. Cairo Santos has been lights out. Yeah. Please continue that. It's the defense at this point. Let's get that figured out. And I don't give a shit who's got to speak it into existence. If Chuck Pagano's sitting here watching me right now, Chuck, get out of fucking zone, dude. Send your guys. Fucking make these teams force the quarterback to beat you. Don't sit back and allow them to just pick you apart. Let's get it together. And there's a good shot for this team to get into the playoffs. It's all right in front of them. Let's take that opportunity. It's here.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind the zone as long as there's a blitz in front of it. That's a system that the Steelers ran for years. You know, for years and years they ran the zone blitz scheme, and it's an intricate system. It's difficult for a lot of defenders to get down, but it works. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just seen what we had up on the screen with the Bears getting into the playoffs. Final two games are split in the last two contests, and Cardinals lost in the Rams next Sunday. So, yeah, we do. We have the tiebreaker with the Rams, or not the Rams, with the Cardinals. We basically need to win this game. I mean, I know it's one game at a time and this and that, right? But right now, winning this game, if we lose this game, that's it. It's a wrap.
Forget it.
Yeah, and it's over with. With a win in Jacksonville, we increase our odds to 84%. And then it's looking like we pull the 7th seed, right? I think there's still one way we can get the 6th seed, but there's a lot of shit that has to go down. The 6th seed would put us against the NFC East, which would be fucking phenomenal. Right. The 7th seed puts us, as of right now, against the Saints. If somehow the Packers and the Saints flip positions, then the 7th seed puts us against the Packers for the first game of the playoffs. So it's potentially you could play the Packers back to back, or you got the Saints, right? Or if miracles happen, I think there's like one crazy way where we can end up against the NFC least in that first game of the playoffs. Which
I think Tampa would have had to lose yesterday for us to get that spot.
Yeah, we could have got the 5 seed had the Bucs lost. Because we would have held the tiebreaker over the Cardinals and the Bucs, where we could have got the 5th seed. But them winning yesterday, it makes it a moot point.
Gotcha. I thought there was still a way that we can get in, that we could be up there. I could be totally wrong, but I thought there was some sort of scenario where we could take the 6th seed. I don't know, whatever. Because the first seed gets a bye. The first seed gets a bye. And so I'm talking about the 6th seed. The first seed gets a bye. Okay. Then you got 2 against 7, 3 against 6, 4 against 5.
The Rams would lose out. So if the Rams lose out, then we would be in a tie with them and the Cards, and we would get that 6th spot. I don't know how, because we lost the head-to-head to the Rams. But that whatever the floor was, that would put us in the 6th seed.
Yeah. But who knows, man? I mean, let's just get there first, right? Let's get there and go from there. I mean, to get there, and this defense just needs to make a statement. This has to be a statement game. They have to turn around and make this a game that it should be against a beat up fucking 13 losses or however many losses in a row Jags team, where they're just, I mean, this team is weak. And if this team comes out and does to us what they did to Green Bay, right, without their top running back, we're back to being the paper tigers again. I don't care how many points we put up. And I know somebody put it in the chat, for the amount of money that we spent on this defense. Yeah, the results are totally unacceptable, man. And the money that goes forward for this defense, like the money for next year and whatever, it's unacceptable. And I get that Jalen's out again, you know, that he's still out with a shoulder, but either way, man, there's too much money spent on the front, the middle, and the back side of this defense to not beat a Jags team.
I get Jalen's out, but to me, I don't think that was the issue last week. It's not like you saw Shelley and Vildor giving up. Yes, they gave up on a miscommunication, that touchdown, that first touchdown. But to me, I don't think they had the negative impact on the defense last week at all. I just think that, the thing, I love Kyle Fuller, guy I don't want gone, but you look at the way he plays off the ball and he makes it too easy sometimes, especially in like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 situations. he's 16 yards off the ball. Well, I mean, all I got to do is go out and run a hook, and I weigh 300 fucking pounds and could run a hook and catch a pass in front of Kyle Fuller. Come on, get aggressive. Like, I get it. He may be more comfortable playing off the ball. I get that he breaks on the ball very well, but he hasn't been making the impact plays, just as Eddie Jackson hasn't been doing. It's been our defensive line and linebackers and our special teams that have gotten the turnovers recently. So something's got to give. If that means you've got to man up, let's man up. I don't understand the fear in that, especially now when your offense is averaging 31 points a game. Chuck, you can't be afraid now that your offense can't score. They can. They absolutely can. So let's fucking go.
Yeah, in the chat, man. It comes down to coaching. Fuller and Eddie Jackson were studs under Vic Fangio, and they've got the players. And the money's tied up in good talent too. I mean, Robert Quinn needs to wake the f up. Maybe last week the strip sack helped him do that. See if he comes ready to play today. But the talent's there, and the money's in players that have proven themselves before. So I think it does rest and lie on coaching. Get the best out of your players. Know the situation. Know how to line up. And that's all on Pagano, but he wants to make jokes in his press conferences. So
Bing bang boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is all on Pagano. I mean, running that defense, having all those pieces, you would think with his experience and with the amount of years that he's been in the league, that he'd be able to, I guess, dissect these other offenses, right, and know what works. And you would see different schemes coming and different blitz styles and that. I think he's definitely been a letdown. I think he gets by with the talent that's on this team. And if all that money wasn't spent on this defense, you'd have lost a bunch of those games because you wouldn't have had a star player here or there to change the game. So I think that defense is very they're just I wouldn't say underutilized, but they're just put in the wrong positions. He's like Nagy. He's like Nagy as an offensive coordinator. He doesn't know how to utilize those guys. And to change up, I think he's definitely chopping block, first one on the chopping block.
Has to be.
Yeah, and then go from there. But I don't know, man. This we could be. I mean, we got 2 games left, right? And we could be looking at a total rebuild next year. We could be looking at a damn fire sale here, depending on this game. This game holds a lot for people in that organization's jobs and who we see in Chicago next year. This game is really, to me, this game is like the deciding factor to how many people have jobs in Chicago next year.
Yeah, I think if they lose this game, I think you just see, I think the McCaskey's hand is going to be forced, and you're just going to see him just cut everybody.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it freaking crazy though, and just aggravating that we're talking about the potential of losing a game against Mike Glennon and a damn team that's only lost 1 game this year. Like, that's the amount of confidence that this team, look at the top players and the stars on this team. And we're still talking about this, like that there's a possibility. And I think that it's collective. It's not like it's just us like going on a topic. There's people who think that there's a possibility that the Bears don't win this game. And I don't know, man. It's just to have this amount of talent and these players to even talk about possibly the Jaguars losing their second game or winning their second game of the season. It's ridiculous, man.
I just can't see it. I know a couple Jaguar fans that one a family member, one a coworker, and when I say diehard Jags fans, these guys are diehard Jags fans.
Fucking
I know damn well if the fucking Jags were to win today, I might have to actually call 911 and send them to their house because they would just fucking
have a heart attack.
They would be fucking distraught, and I wouldn't blame them. I sit here and say I want to win every game. Well, if I'm 1-13 and have the chance to draft Trevor fucking Lawrence or Justin Fields or any one of these other top quarterbacks, I'm going to tank. If I got 1 win with 2 left, fuck it.
Right.
I don't want to win. I want the quarterback. I want to improve my franchise.
I only knew one Jags fan when I was in the Army, and he was a diehard, like you were talking about. But he was a Gators fan too, so he was like, college football is way better than pros, and I'm like, yeah, I'd say that too. I'd say that
too.
Man, we got a little Nicky Kurtz in the chat.
Right.
Nicky's in there.
Woke
Make the
him up
playoffs.
this
Do this. Do that. Yeah, Nick. All right, boys. What else? I mean, you guys know I wasn't here for half the damn show. Where do we go from here though? What's the even if we win these games and make the playoffs, and I think Mike or maybe AC posed that question earlier. We make the playoffs. Are we still cleaning house, or are we confident in this team that they've found out what they're doing now and going from there?
I don't think so. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, and Mike touched on financially as far as what the McCaskies might do after losing all this money this year anyway.
Yeah.
If we make the playoffs, I don't see them saying, well, cut everybody loose. You know what I'm saying? We had a playoff team. That's what they're gonna rest on. I don't know what the hell that is.
Although drop some pictures of his family gather. Oh, Jags fan.
Yeah, it changes, man. I mean, you die for this roster. You do anything to put a roster like this together where there's still a window to win. So if this makes the playoffs, and even if they get smoked and blown out in round one, especially if we beat Green Bay to get there, they're not blowing this thing up. There's no reason for them. There's no reason.
I think we might be looking for a new defensive coordinator. I'd love a guy that'll blitz like what's that guy's name down in Tampa? Todd Bowles. Somebody run a defense like that. I'd freaking love that here. Or who knows? Maybe Fangio will be on the market again. The way the Broncos are playing.
That's been my dream for the last few weeks, that maybe Fangio becomes available again. But this morning, Schefter tweeted that his sources are telling him that Fangio's job is safe. So my dream is dead, and I think yours is too now. But
they probably feel like they're a quarterback away. And I have a friend, again, an Army buddy who's a Broncos fan, and when they drafted Drew Lock, I was like, dude, I watched him for what felt like 6 years down here at Missouri get his ass kicked by Kentucky at football, and I just don't think he's that good. And then he's over there, and I think I saw a comment come out about him that was just like, sometimes the ball leaves my hand, and then I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, what?
Man, well, let me throw this in here real quick. I mean, we're talking about balls in hand, so let me throw this in here real quick, just because we got a new line of things coming, and just a happy New Year's from our sponsor, Manscaped. We got New Year's right around the corner. Look at those things, man. Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming, offering precision engineered tools for the family jewels. And here you have, to help clean your balls. And this whole New Year's, it's the tools for the job, man. Spoiler alert. To 2021, hairy nuts are still fucking disgusting. Step up into the new year with the Manscaped, 3.0. Get the perfect package, get all that shit going. Get yourself there. Look at that. Look at some ball preserver, some crop preserver, the essentials package. You can go to manscaped.com, use code BARROOM20. Come out of quarantine looking fresh, and maybe you can pick up something like that. I mean,
hey, I got to throw something in on this, Bobby.
Go ahead. What you got?
If you're not a manscaper, that's completely up to you. But every man should have a nice cologne, and Manscaped has made this cologne called Refined, and I've been wearing it lately. My wife absolutely freaking loves it. So even if you're not a ball shaver, Manscaped still has stuff for you. They got a good cologne and a good the crop preserver helps with chafing and stuff. If you work like I do in a factory, chafing is an issue. So even if you don't shave yourself. You got they've still got products for you over there at manscaped.com.
That's right. The first week of January, Manscaped is going to launch the cologne. So that's something that you can't even go to the website and get yet. The January 12th will be the cologne launch, and I'm telling we all got ours. And I agree with AC. That shit is awesome, man. But January 12th will be the cologne launch. And we'll have a bottle of that to give away to you guys. We got a precision package we can give away too. Let's start that later today, and we'll do a little raffle for a precision package. And one of you guys in the chat are going to win that thing. And we'll get that going for either the first playoff game or our last show of the season, because we're not going to the playoffs. So we'll get that thing going, but get over to Manscaped, get 20% off manscaped.com, use code barroom20 and, get everything you need for your boys, man. And that's it. That's it on the bar or on the Manscaped thing. Get over there now, barroom 20, and get it going.
Damn jungle.
Yeah, you're right, Nikki. Well, we'll get Nikki something too. Get Nikki something a little special. All right, let's roll this thing. Let's go. Yo, I gotta turn that thing off. Could you guys hear that thing ring?
Yep, every time.
Yeah. So we got one of those ring things for Christmas, right? And
the doorbells.
There's currently motion detected at my front door. So maybe somebody's coming to get some Manscaped. I don't know, man. Maybe they're listening outside. Yeah, let's wrap this thing up with we got some bold predictions, score predictions. If you're in the chat and you got some bold predictions, score predictions, throw them in there. You know what? Let's do this. If you got score predictions, drop them in the chat. If you're correct, we'll send you an Allen Robinson signed football. So you're in the chat, drop your score predictions, get them in there. If you're right on a score prediction, just straight up nail it. We will send you a signed Allen Robinson football. So let's kick this thing over to Mr. Aaron Current and go with your bold predictions, score predictions.
All right. I think the Bears are going to score over 30 points for the first time since 1965 for 4 games in a row. And I think that Mitchell David Trubisky has a balling ass game today. I'm talking 4 touchdowns, maybe one on the run and 3 through the air. I think he tears his defense apart and shows he shows up and comes to play and working on getting a contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. I think the Bears blow out the Jaguars today, 41-17.
Bold prediction?
That was the Mitch 4 touchdowns.
Are you sure? I mean, isn't that a given against this Jaguars offense? No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's go over to Mr. Well, damn. Let's go over to Mr. Mike Schaefer. Bold prediction, score prediction. What you got, man?
It's kind of funny. I at nighttime, I'm thinking of scores, and then when we do this show, everything just completely goes out the window.
Yeah.
Like last night, I'm thinking, man, can the Bears cover? Will they cover? Are Jags playing these close games? Well, here's my bold prediction. My bold prediction is that Jacksonville is not going to score today. I'm channeling KB right now, and I think we're going to pitch a shutout. So,
all right.
Talk about the defense and Pagano being worthless. Does it get bolder than pitching a shutout on Sunday afternoon? So I'm going to go, shutout. And for the score, let's go Bears 34. So, AC, you get your 30 points, and Jacksonville 0.
Dang. Sweetness.
Yeah, we might have a Jags fan in the chat, but Daxery Williams. So I'm taking pictures of all your guys' score predictions just so we have them all. He's going 35-30 Jags. Yeah, there it goes right there. I'm just kind of doing this so I don't have to go back into this chat later and try to find everybody's predictions and that I have them all. But either way, that's
if these guys are on Twitter, they could go to the Barfly Tailgate show and DM it to us, right?
Yeah, they could. They can go over there and DM it to us if they want, but I'm just going to try to go down the list of, I don't know. Hopefully I have them all. Mr. Ryan Badgley, what you got, man? Bold prediction, score prediction.
I'm just shocked that somebody picked the Jags freaking to win 35-30 and Mike Glennon throw 5 touchdowns. My bold prediction is that Mike Glennon will throw 2 first-half interceptions, be taken out of the game. Gardner Minshew will then come in and throw 3 second-half interceptions for a total of 5 interceptions for this Bears defense today. And I am going to say the final score will end up 43-3. Bears win. The Jags will get a field goal, but the Bears defense shows up with 5 picks. Fuck it. I'm going to say they return 3 of them for touchdowns.
Damn. Holy shit. That's some bold prediction. All right. So this is what I'm going with. I'm going with a 2 bold prediction. Montgomery, 200 plus on the ground. I'm saying that he's going to take it to him, go 200 plus on the ground. I do think that our defense is going to eat today. But I'm going to leave my bold prediction with the offense and David Montgomery. I'm going with the final score of 38-13. Bears win. And I don't think we'll see Minshew at all. I think it's just going to be Glennon out there. Unless Glennon gets injured, it's going to be Glennon out there doing it because this Jaguars team, they're trying for that first round pick, man. They're trying, or that number 1 overall pick, not first round, but number 1 overall. And I really don't think the Jaguars are, with losing their running back, right, and with everything going on for them. I think this is a layup game. And that's what scares me about it. But I'm still going with big win for the Bears. And we just got to get it, man. We got to get this. We got to get next week. We got to keep pushing. Obviously we're here. Obviously we're here thanks to the Niners, right? But whatever, man. I mean, either way it works out. They came out and won their game, and now the Jags have a chance to spoil our season. So if that's the only thing they have to play for, in the player sense, that's what it is, man. Shout outs around the room. Mr. Mike Schaefer, any shout outs that you got, man?
I'd like to thank the city of San Francisco and George Kittle for comments. It really made me feel pretty good on Saturday night leading into game day. Everybody in the chat room that sticks with us week after week, especially through the rough patches. But here we are. We're talking playoffs. So to everybody out there, although on the controls, thanks so much. And let's get a dub.
Damn straight. Mr. AC, Aaron Current, what you got for shout-outs, man?
Playoffs? I'm talking about playoffs? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to y'all for letting me come on here every week and do my therapy session. Shout out to KB. We miss you, brother. He didn't make it this morning. And so, I mean, if we lose, then we know the issue was that KB wasn't here and Mike. So we're going to have to figure that one out. Yeah, that's all I got. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the Barflies. And shout out to y'all. Merry Christmas to everybody. Belated.
Yeah, definitely. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Shout outs. Let me start with, and I know we kind of been talking about San Fran, and I don't know if you guys hit it earlier, but get over on Twitter and check out Mr. Greg Braggs Jr.'s site. He's given away a signed autographed Peanut Tillman jersey. We shared it on Twitter earlier with a donation to University of Iowa Children's Hospital. You can get in that little raffle that he's got going for the jersey, so check that out. Signed by Peanut, man. Peanut Punch jersey. Why wouldn't you want it? Nice. Otherwise, shout out to my kids. These kids, there's a guy who sleeps in his truck over in the parking lots around here of the stores and all that. And they came to me the other day and asked if they could, either it was last week that came to me, if they could either, forego a couple of their things or do something, or if we can put something together for this guy. So, went over there, got the guy a couple nights in a hotel, to the Days Inn and your staff over there. Thank you. We know the owners, and they gave us a couple free nights, and they're taking care of the nights. We got the kids threw together about $200 in groceries and that. So, shout out to them, and I'm just proud that they, they're older, but they make these decisions, and makes you proud of everything. And then shout out to all you guys, and appreciate everything from the bar room, from Mr. Gandia, and everybody in the chat for sticking with us and doing this thing, man. It's really something special, and hopefully next week I won't have these computer issues. My screen might have a crack in it from where I hit it with the right cross earlier, but hey, whatever. That's just the way it goes. But appreciate all you guys. Thanks for listening and everything like that. Let me kick it over to Mr. Ryan Badgley for your shout outs, man. What you got?
Well, I want to shout out your kids as well, because that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, raising decent human beings over there, Bobby.
Yeah, man. That's
I don't know how, man.
And I want to shout you and Carrie out because you did that shit. You guys raised them, and you guys are great people, man. And I love doing this with you, Bobby, Mike, AC, Aldo. Thank you so much. The chat, man, you guys always fucking bring it. We love having you interactive with us. It makes it so much fun, seeing your comments come up. We appreciate it greatly. Shout out to Jamie Dragani, the ball girl. Can't thank her enough. She does so much. I know it's just a football, but what it means to us and the players. I mean, Sam Acho, every time he posts a video now, you can see that badge of honor ball behind him, because he's showing it in his video. And that's why we give these to these guys, man, because we want to show them how much we respect them for what they're doing. And it's just respect for us, for them showing it off. And we appreciate that greatly. Aldo, I can't thank you enough, man, for holding down the controls and, producing the show as well as you do. And everybody else at the Barroom Network. Don't forget, tune in to Bear Football at halftime today. And also for the post-game show, you don't want to miss that. John Buffone, Tyler Ellis, Aldo Gandia on that show. And, let's get this fucking dub. Let's beat the shit out of these guys today.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, man. We need to go out there and just destroy them. And then also, if you're in the chat still, I know we're wrapping it up. Go over to Audacia.com. Check out their stickers. We got a whole load of them coming in that we're gonna give away to you guys. And Mr. Mike, next week I will hit you with I got a bunch of deep dish stuff that came in for Christmas, so we're rocking it over here. But Audacia, they got tons of stickers on there. Everything's donated to one of the players' causes or a charity that Audacia picks if the players don't have a cause mentioned. So get over to Audacia, pick up some of their stickers. And yeah, you're right, little Nicky. Let's open up Club Dub. We'll open up Club Dub today. Let's get this thing going, and we're going to leave you guys with a fat-ass bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.